In American politics, power doesn't always rise with noise. Sometimes it comes quietly, from the least expected corners of the nation. Today, we explore the rise of a man whose name many Americans didn't even know, until he stepped into one of the most powerful positions in the country. This is the story of Mike Johnson, and how a low-profile congressman became the Speaker of the House. When the U.S. House of Representatives collapsed into chaos after the ouster of Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Washington entered a historic crisis. Weeks passed. Candidates came and failed. The government stood on the edge of shutdown. And then, out of nowhere, came a figure almost invisible to the national stage. Mike Johnson, a constitutional lawyer from Louisiana. Few Americans knew him. Few reporters followed him. Even many lawmakers barely interacted with him. Yet in the middle of political turbulence, he became the unity choice for a fractured Republican Party. How did this happen? What shaped him? And what does his leadership mean for America? This documentary takes you deep inside the life, beliefs, controversies, and rise of Speaker Mike Johnson. If you're enjoying this deep dive documentary and want more powerful stories about American politics, leadership, and democracy, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Your support helps us create more high-quality content just like this. Mike Johnson was born on January 30th, 1972, in Shreveport, Louisiana. His upbringing was shaped by strong evangelical faith and a working-class family culture grounded in duty and sacrifice. His father, a firefighter, suffered a devastating injury in the line of duty, a moment that would influence Johnson's understanding of service and resilience. Growing up in the American South during a time of cultural and political transformation, Johnson absorbed conservative Christian values that would later become the foundation of his political philosophy. He attended Louisiana State University, studying business and later earning his Juris Doctor from the LSU Paul M. Hebert Law Center. Even as a student, he was drawn toward debates about faith, law, and the role of religion in public life. These early experiences would define nearly every chapter of his career. Before politics, Johnson built a reputation as a constitutional lawyer, specializing in religious liberty and conservative social issues. He worked with the Alliance Defending Freedom, one of the most influential Christian legal organizations in the U.S. His cases centered around same-sex marriage laws, religious freedom disputes, and constitutional interpretation from a conservative lens. For supporters, he was a champion of traditional values, a skilled attorney defending the rights of religious Americans. For critics, he was a central figure in efforts to restrict LGBTQ rights and push conservative religious ideology into legal structures. Johnson also advised the Southern Baptist Convention, deepening his influence in evangelical legal circles. These legal battles sharpened his messaging and elevated him among conservative activists, paving the way for a political future. Johnson's political journey began in 2015 when he won a seat in the Louisiana House of Representatives. His rise was rapid. With a calm demeanor, disciplined messaging, and strong support from Christian conservative networks, he quickly became a figure to watch. In 2016, he ran for the U.S. Congress and won Louisiana's 4th District. Once in Washington, Johnson continued to build influence. He became chair of the Republican Study Committee, the largest conservative caucus in Congress. He later served as vice chair of the House Republican Conference. He gained notoriety for his close involvement in legal strategies supporting President Trump during impeachment. His loyalty to Trump and the conservative base strengthened his standing among the right, but also intensified criticism from Democrats and moderates. Johnson's political ideology is rooted deeply in Christianity. He openly describes the Bible as his guiding framework for public policy. His worldview emphasizes limited government, constitutional originalism, personal responsibility, traditional family structures, and strong national defense. He is firmly anti-abortion and opposes same-sex marriage. He supports prayer in schools, religious freedom protections, and conservative interpretations of the First Amendment. To supporters, he offers moral clarity in a politically turbulent America. To critics, his approach blurs the line between faith and governance, raising questions about the separation of church and state. His ideology forms the backbone of every vote, decision, and political move he makes. In October 2023, the House plunged into a leadership crisis. Kevin McCarthy was ousted. Multiple candidates failed. The Republican Party fractured publicly, unable to unify behind any contender. Negotiations grew tense. Government shutdowns loomed. And then, almost quietly, Mike Johnson emerged. He wasn't a national figure. He wasn't the obvious choice. But precisely because he wasn't involved in major political feuds, he had fewer enemies. Behind the scenes, lawmakers began to see him as a compromise candidate. His calm personality, disciplined legal mindset, and reliable conservative credentials made him acceptable to all factions, from the far-right Freedom Caucus to traditional Republicans. On October 25, 2023, Mike Johnson was elected the 56th Speaker of the House. The nation turned its attention to a man many had never heard of. Becoming Speaker thrust Johnson into one of the most demanding roles in American politics. Suddenly, he became second in the presidential line of succession. He gained power over House committees, legislative schedules, and national negotiations. But he also inherited a razor-thin Republican majority and a party divided over policy, spending, immigration, and foreign aid. His leadership style is sober, legalistic, and grounded in structured constitutional arguments. He doesn't rely on political theater. Instead, he emphasizes order, principles, and biblical inspiration. Supporters find comfort in his calm approach. Critics argue that his ideology may not match the demands of modern governance. Johnson's speakership became a test of whether a deeply conservative, faith-driven leader could navigate an increasingly secular and polarized national landscape. As Speaker, Johnson faced intense scrutiny. His past legal work opposing same-sex marriage resurfaced. His efforts to challenge the 2020 election certification drew widespread criticism. His ties to Christian nationalist groups raised concerns about religious influence on government. His stance against LGBTQ rights sparked protests. He was criticized for supporting policies restricting gender identity discussions in public schools. For many Americans, these positions represent a clash between conservative religious beliefs and expanding social rights. But for many conservatives, Johnson symbolizes a return to moral governance and constitutional originalism. His controversies reflect America's deeper debate. What role should religion play in politics? Johnson sits at the center of this national argument. As Speaker, Johnson confronted battles over government funding, national security, immigration reform, and America's role in global conflicts. He worked closely with conservative caucuses, but often faced pressure from both moderates and far-right members. His decisions on spending bills, border security, and foreign aid carried national consequences. He tried to balance ideology with political survival. Some praised him for taking principled stands. Others criticized his inexperience and rigid worldview. Every move he made shaped the future of his leadership and the stability of Congress. Outside Washington, Johnson lives a structured, faith-centered life. He has been married to his wife Kelly since 1999. Together, they raise their children in Louisiana and host a Christian podcast discussing faith, family, and culture. To supporters, his family life strengthens his authenticity. To critics, it reinforces concerns that his policy positions are rooted more in religion than governance. But whether admired or criticized, his personal life is inseparable from his political identity. Mike Johnson's rise to Speaker was one of the most unexpected events in modern US politics. His influence is undeniable, his beliefs are unwavering, and his leadership is shaping the American political landscape at a time of historic division. Johnson represents a unique intersection. A quiet figure placed in a loud world, a deeply religious man leading a secular government, and an ideologue navigating the pragmatism of political power. Whether he will be remembered as a stabilizing force or a symbol of ideological conflict, that chapter of history is still being written if you're enjoying this deep dive documentary and want more powerful stories about American politics, leadership, and democracy. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Your support helps us create more high-quality content just like this.